enter light. Scroll in hand, 7 seals. Every word cuts and heals. Red horse screams, hooves like drums, sword raised high, kingdoms come, peace unstitched by a single roar. I hear thunder at my door, wars and rumors of wars, spoken like a curse in the dark. Every headline, every scar is another cracked heart in the ark. Wars and rumors of wars. Hey, echo from the prophets and seers. When the Lamb breaks the seal, all the old world shakes with our fears.
Check.
Black horse ways, bread and bone, steel stilled hard, iron stone. Measure grain by a dying sun, silver short for everyone. Pale horse waits, eyes like ash, graves awake, tombs unlatch. Hades hangs on a trailing chain, every pole spells your name. Wars and rumors of wars, spoken like a curse in the dark. Every headline, every scar's another cracked heart in the ark. Wars and rumors of wars. Echo from the prophets and seers. When the Lamb breaks the seal, all the old world shakes with our fears. Fifth seal opens. How long? How long?
Not good.
Blood at the altar becomes a song. Sex seal shattered, sky like glass. Kings of the earth hide in the cracks. Wars and rumors of wars, spoken like a curse in the dark. Every headline,
All right.
every scar is another cracked heart in the ark. Wars and rumors of wars, echo from the prophets and seers.
Check.
When the Lamb breaks the seal,
Check.
all the old world drowns in its fears.
Yes. And here, oh, why isn't it not working? I was working on it behind the scenes. This is what was taking so long. I'll talk amongst yourselves. I'm sure I can make it come up. Just pretend I'm on screen right now, and hit your thumbs up. This is your moment to shine, everybody. This is where you get a chance, possibly to slide over here. There you go. To maybe. Is this ready? Hey, look at that. It worked. Good Lord. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Up and running. Sorry, a little bit of a late start. Today was hospital day, not fun. So, but here I am. And I gotta say, yeah, okay. So, just so you know, one of the things that broke today, news-wise, that's kind of on the sidelines of stuff, and hit that like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Megaworldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. That's why I'm keeping my subscription numbers under 100K, just so I can. I'm sliding into the DMs of the internet with my show. That's my goal. It's amazing how I still am stuck in that kind of doom spiral of not being able to hit 100K, and yet my viewer hours are through the goddamn roof. And yeah, so just saying for the record, I got the viewership, I got the eyeballs. Just subscribe. That would be the thing. Okay, David Sachs is no longer our our AI and tech czar um, as of today, not because of what he said about the war in Iran, which we'll get to in a second, and where Trump basically was like, "What now?" Um, but because his 130 days are up. He was a special governmental employee because they couldn't get him through the senator. He didn't even want to try. More than likely, there's some of these people who clearly could not get through congressional scrutiny, and there are some who are like, "Don't even look up my skirt." And David Sachs is one of those guys. So, anyways, he was advising AI policy, which he was doing a bang up job, of course, and you can tell by how Trump spoke about the topic. Yeah. So he is now on a new role, which he can do for another 130 days, as the co-chair of the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. Um, uh, he should be able to do the exact same thing and basically just get insider information on who the government's going to give contracts to, so he can make a lot of money. That said, he was one of the guys who said that, oddly enough, America should just declare victory in Iran and get out. That was it's a sentiment that's going around in the JD Vance camp, mainly because JD Vance is very concerned, as he should be, that he's not going to be able to run for president with this hanging around his neck. So yeah, the boards all sound made up. The titles of the boards aren't as hilariously pathetic as the things they do in the Trump administration. Other presidents have come up with boards like this because deeply complicated technology requires expertise, and that those expertise aren't going to come up through the normal channels of government, especially if they blast onto the scene like something like AI. And I'm not going to go tell this motherfucker how shit works, so they're going to have to find somebody who can do it, I guess. And Rob Glenn's not going to do it. You're stuck, you know. I mean, I suppose they could tune into Friday AI every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time and get the inside scoopage. But David Sachs said we should declare war and get out. Trump was asked a question about that in this. I think this is in the same um, cabinet gaggle, whatever bullshit he was doing, where he did the Pepe thing. Here you go.
Advisors David
Here goes.
Sachs said the other week that
One of your advisors, David Sachs,
the U.S. should, quote, declare victory and get out of the Iran war. He also warned that if the conflict escalates, Israel may contemplate the use of a nuclear weapon. Has he shared that assessment with you?
No, yes. And
I don't talk to him.
Israel wouldn't do that. Israel would never do that. And yeah, there's a theory. You've pounded them to hell, and you could just leave now, and it'll take 10 years for them to build back not nearly what they have right now. And I guess that's another theory. But we want to have it ended so that another president doesn't have. Look, for 47 years, no president was willing to do what I'm doing.
Obama school.
And they should have done it a long time ago. It would have been a lot easier. There's no president that
They should have done it before nuclear weapons even existed. That would have been,
wanted to do
very
it.
forward thinking.
And yet every president knew. I've spoken to a certain president.
Okay. No, he hasn't. Also, by the way, he said it another gaggle that he got together when I think it was the RNC thing that he did. And for some reason, he said all the presidents now have said that. Yeah. All the presidents have said that they wish they had done it. All of them have called him. The four that are alive that said they didn't, they and all the dead ones have been speaking to him, apparently. Now, this is okay. Where do we even start? The president called in on the 5, which proves one thing. Jessica's not present. Notice there is no liberal voice on the panel at all. There's only one most of the time, but there's none today because they knew he was going to call in, or it was arranged, or she was told to go home, or whatever. Wait, is this a premiere?
With
Is it?
you.
Oh yeah. So let me make sure the volume's up on this thing.
Thank you, Greg.
Have a great evening.
Oh wait, why is it at the end? I didn't watch the. Oh, because it was a premiere. Just whose channel was this on? Sorry, this is hilarious. Fox News did use the premiere setting on YouTube. What are they doing next? Makeup tutorials? What the shit? Okay. This is the music that like you can just click the button and go, make this a premiere, and it plays a little like here it comes video. That's funny.
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's always good to hear your voice.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations on beating all of those frauds that try to compete with you at a certain time of the evening. You're a little earlier, but I will tell you the numbers are incredible. Your numbers and their numbers are incredibly bad.
Yes.
And they deserve it. They have no talent, but congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Congratulations. You beat people with no talent.
So we all have a bunch of questions. I'm sure we'll get to one of them.
By the way, one of those people that apparently you quote unquote beat is now going to be writing a series based on the original Lord of the Rings. Stephen Colbert is now going to be developing a show with Peter Jackson because he knows the book so well. That's awesome. I hope it has a bit of Strangers with Candy in it.
I want to ask you, like, how do you deal with people who might be disappointed because they voted, let's say they voted for you on the assumption of no wars, and then this happens and it's inconsistent with their wishes? What would you say to them?
Their wishes? Why not inconsistent with what he fucking said?
Well, I have to do something in terms of making America great and keeping America great. And when you have lunatics with nuclear weapons and the power is beyond belief, I will tell
You mean like Kim Jong-un, your buddy?
you as a president, I get to see it. My uncle was a great professor at MIT.
Oh my fucking God. Sorry, what did you see? A GIF? What'd you see? Cutscenes from Oppenheimer? They're not flying you down to fucking Arizona to watch a detonation. What do you...
And he knew more about nuclear at the time than anybody. He told me stories that were horrible in terms
about horrible and how these things go boom.
of the power, both beautiful in terms of putting it to good use, but really bad for destruction purposes. And
or great for destruction purposes. If you're seeking destruction as the purpose of the thing, it would be considerably gooder.
His statements from years ago were,
These are not nuclear strikes, by the way.
He really got it. He really got it. He was a highly respected man.
What the fuck are you talking about? Who doesn't know that a nuclear bomb causes massive devastation? What did he do? Watch documentaries on Chernobyl and explain them to you?
And he was there for 41 years at
Oh my. This is rough.
MIT as a great professor. And he told me about a thing called nuclear. And
did he? He told you he did. He was an MIT professor for 41 years. He told you about a thing called nuclear. Did he speak slowly and use single syllable words, or
at the time, nope.
Yeah, you earned that. Duh.
He told me about a thing called nuclear, and at the time nobody knew too much about it, and he.
Nobody? Not even the people that were actually on the Manhattan Project or in our government, or the presidents and everyone around them who had access to the arsenal for years.
Said exactly what it was all about, and you can.
It was, I think, the Hokey Pokey. It was a nuclear version of the Hokey Pokey because, indeed, That's what it's all about.
You can't let a madman or you can't let a mad ideology have a nuclear weapon. And we hit, as you know, we hit
Great. So he was basically warning about your future.
50,000 in the Dow. Everyone said it would be impossible in 4 years. I hit it in my
Hold on. Did somebody bump the record player?
first year. We hit 7,000 in the S&P, and everyone said that would be even more impossible. We hit it in my first year.
And then it's like the Dow's at 45,000. You're just like shaved off everything.
And I said, we have to take a little bit of a detour. We have to take a little journey to a place called Iran, where
A place called Iran with a thing called nuclear and a big bang called boom boom.
these mad people were going to have a nuclear weapon, and they could do tremendous damage not only to the Middle East and Israel, but also to our country, because we would be next. And I said, we're going to take a little detour, and we're going to go, and we're going to
He can't say the word excursion. He's lost the word excursion. He's trying to. It's when he backs up and tries to bang his head against his vocabulary.
knock them out, and that's what we've done. We have the greatest military in the world. And it started with the B-2 bombers, which made it impossible for them to do the nuclear. They would have had.
Well, then if it made it impossible for them to do the nuclear, which I believe is a new dance, you know, do the nuclear, everybody. It's the new jam.
If we didn't hit them with the B-2 bombers like 8 months ago, if we didn't do that, they would have right now a nuclear weapon, and they would have used it by
Well, then why are we there now?
this time. And it also happened with Barack Hussein Obama.
Okay, first of all, these people are terrified. Look at these. Look at him looking at her, and they're all like, And he asked that because Kennedy's one of those I'm not so sure about this whole war thing maggots, and yet her job is on the 5, so it's not exactly like she can ring that bell every day. And that's why they're tossing looks.
If you've ever heard of him, Barack Hussein Obama, terrible president, absolutely a divider and a terrible president. And when he did the Iran nuclear deal, he gave them a path to a nuclear weapon within a short period of time.
Can we do close-ups on their faces while they're sitting there feeling like complete assholes?
They would have had a nuclear weapon a few years ago, and they would have used it on Israel. They would have used it on the Middle East. And you saw that when this all started. They had no tremendous problem with Saudi Arabia, Qatar.
Except that they'd been funding a proxy in Yemen that had been attacking Saudi Arabia for years, and then they just decided to go direct.
And
Also, we have bases there, and you have a financial relationship with them, so
you take a look, and UAE,
don't be a little thing about it called nuclear.
Kuwait, Oman, they had no problem with them. They were doing fine, and yet they hit them with, in the case of UAE, 1,400 missiles, ballistic missiles. And what they were going to do is they were going to hit the Middle East, and they would have hit it with nuclear if they
Please take the camera off these people, because they're going to start rolling their eyes.
had it, because they're stone cold crazy. So in order to keep our country great, I said, we're going to take a fairly short detour. We're going to show everybody that
Fairly short.
there's nobody even coming close to us militarily. Nobody.
Close. He's starting to do the Carol Channing. It's a slobber moment.
Even comes close. We have the greatest weapons. We have the strongest military.
He's laying in bed, like covered in fucking Cheeto dust and French fries.
And I rebuilt it. I built and rebuilt our military.
It's like laying like Mr. Creosote in the residence. I couldn't have eat another bite. I'm absolutely stuffed.
First term, and I got to use it a little bit more than I would have liked to be able, because we had Venezuela, and now we have this. But we're going to keep our country safe. You can't let this happen to us or, frankly, anybody else in the world. We're doing.
Oh, we are the world's policeman now. Oh, good. All right. Well, we settled that as well. So congratulations, maggots. Regime change, foreign wars, and now we are the globe's policeman once again. It's almost like that New World Order you guys were all worried about was the plan all along. And that the only reason the people that ran everything got pissed is we would stupidly elect Democrats who wouldn't go along with it.
A big service to the world.
Mr. President, Kayleigh McEnany here. I do want to ask you about the breaking news. You just put out on Truth Social that you will be pausing energy plant destruction by 10 days.
Yeah. We're just doing that to raise the price of oil, and then we're going to rug pull it again. Besson says we could probably make $30 billion each just by cycling this over the next couple of weeks. And then once we let it off, then oil's going to crater. So there's nobody really going to make any big money on it.
Monday, April 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, because the negotiations are going very well. I would never ask you to reveal to the public specifics, but could you broadly characterize where we are at?
Well, the Iranians asked me to do that, and I was not happy with them because I made a statement that we're having productive negotiations. I don't know that they get there. Maybe they do. Maybe they won't. I mean, look, in a certain sense, we've already won because.
No, sorry, we don't know if what gets where. The talking, like the words leaving people's faces and going across tables and phone lines, I guess.
We've knocked out their Navy. We've knocked out their Air Force.
Is this part of the negotiation?
Completely knocked out their Air Force. Just about completely knocked out. We knocked out 154 ships, and pretty good ships. In fact, I said, why do
Oh shit! Why don't we keep them? What, like we're like it's the fucking 14th century.
we just take them instead of sinking them? We could have used them ourselves, right?
For what?
But they like showing how tough they are. They like them at the bottom of the sea, probably a little bit better. But think of it. We knocked out their Navy. We knocked out their Air Force. We knocked out most of their missiles. They're down to about 9%. We knocked out their missile launchers, which is a big deal because without the missile launchers, the missiles don't do very well. You can't go to your window and say, let's throw a missile out of the air. And we.
Yeah, that's true. You can't actually go to the window and throw a missile out the window. Well, not, in any tactical sense.
Knocked out all of their
windows,
communications, their telecommunications, and very importantly, we knocked out their anti-aircraft apparatus, which was
he's been hunting for that word. Systems, I guess. Batteries. He's been looking for either of those words for weeks and just settled on apparatus.
Very good, but it didn't last long because we hit it the second night, and we're just free flying right over the middle of Tehran, do whatever we want. And one other thing we knocked out was their leaders. So
that's what he knocks out is their leaders.
We knocked out the supreme leader, as they called him, Khomeini. We then knocked out
Khomeini's been dead for a long time.
Then named another one. We knocked them out, and we knocked out part of the third group, and we're just holding for the rest. We know where they all are, and it's one country that does not want to be. You have very few people want to be the leader. Everyone wants to.
Oh God! When he starts going on an aside, I wish we could cut to Jesse Waters' face, just going, "Oh God, shut up."
Be president of the United States. Everyone wants to be president or whatever, prime minister of a certain country. There are not a lot of takers to be the head.
There are not a lot of takers
of Iran right now. I will tell you, they're all fighting not to. We don't want that position. But they asked me if they would, Kayleigh, importantly, they said to me, very nicely, through my people, could we have more time? Because we're talking about tomorrow night, which is pretty quick.
Oh, by the way, this is right before he tacoed, I guess. Yeah, this has nothing to do with their response. Him punting this 10 days was all about oil. Oil spiked when he announced this, and everybody's like, you can't actually do this, or it's because Israel's going to strike the oil plants in there as well. If the energy grid is on the table as far as attacks, so is their oil production, and there's no fucking way they're not going to hit it. They would be stupid not to.
And if they don't do what they have to do, I will knock out their power plants. And he said, does that include nuclear? Because they have nuclear, plenty of money. They have a lot of money, and they built nuclear and they built regular power plants, but they're massive and very expensive, billions of dollars. And so I gave them a 10-day period. They asked for 7. You're going to say, oh, Trump's a terrible negotiator. They asked for 7, and I said, I'm going to give you 10. Because they gave me ships. We talked about the 8 ships. The president that I talked about the other day, but they asked for
Yeah, he brought that up at the thing. So the big, beautiful, expensive present they get there was allowing 8 Pakistani ships to get through. They were already doing that. They have a relationship with Pakistan. I don't know, and it's Chinese oil. It's not that's not going to us. It's just going out into the market. Like they didn't do that for us at all.
7, and I gave them 10. You got 10 days, and they were very thankful about that. Now they may say, "Oh, we're not speaking." I don't like that because that wasn't true the last time, as you found out. But we are speaking, and it's going fairly well. And
No, it isn't. None of this is predicated on him talking to them. None of it requires any action on their part at all. There could be no one on the other end of the line. I think I've told you guys. And my mom is a nurse, and she used to, she worked for a urologist for years, and she worked in a hospital, and then she worked in an insane asylum, which is scarier than a mental institution. And one time when I went to work with her, there was a guy on the phone there on the payphone in the like front area. It wasn't quite a lobby, yelling at somebody like, "I'm not crazy. Come and get me. Get me out of here. I want to go home." And I was like, "Ooh, that guy's mad." And I was probably, I don't know, 7, something like that. And I'm walking with my mom, and he's just yelling. And this lady comes up, one of the nurses comes up and puts her hand right on his shoulder, and he just drops the phone like he's been dazed and like goes borderline catatonic as soon as she touches his shoulder. And then he just turns around and starts walking away. There's nobody on the line, never was. That's Trump negotiating with Iran.
so I gave them 10 days.
Well, that was nice of you. Very generous, Mr. President.
See,
It's Kennedy.
I am.
Yeah. So you talk about some of the people in Iran who are left in the regime. They don't want to be the supreme leader because they know it's probably a short-term position. There are a lot of Democrats in this country who would like to be president. They would like to succeed you, and they are using this war.
Oh, nice way to backdoor trying to talk him out of this.
As a battering ram. People like Seth Moulton, who ran in 2024, he is saying that, or sorry, 2020, he's saying you are losing this war. And my question for you in terms...
Have you seen shit blow up? Are you crazy? Look at all the stuff blowing up. You know? Have you not seen we sent you a bunch of black and white video. Trucks are exploding. How can you say we're not winning? We sank all their ships that you've never seen, that you never will see, that we definitely sank, that were definitely there before. Lots of them. So many ships. And all the submarines, but we didn't get footage of that, sadly. We got footage of the one ship we shot near India, but the rest of them, the camera wouldn't work. I don't know what it's like shooting a UFO. You know, it's just like the timing is the thing.
Of people who may be giving you pushback on the Democrat side, and even some within your own party. What does winning this war look like?
Well, we've already won the war. Militarily,
all right, let's get the fuck out there.
We've totally won the war.
That isn't a war, by the way. Just saying. How do you win something that isn't a something?
We even knocked out all their they call them mine droppers.
They do not call them mine droppers. There is not a giant bulbous glass stick that tapers with a rubber thing on the end. They're not called mine droppers. They're mine layers, in theory, I guess.
Drop. How'd you like to have a country that has 22 ships that do nothing but drop mines in the water? You know you're...
Probably wouldn't like it. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. It depends. You know, like, who's my enemy, I guess. Because I if I was worried that my country might be attacked and we were surrounded by a lot of water, I might insist. I bet you Taiwan has a few.
To a bad start when you hear that. Now, a guy like Moulton, I don't know who he is. I don't think I ever met him, but he's a loser. I mean, I watch him on television. He's a total loser. And they use this, I watch poor
I don't know who he is, but he's a loser. All right, sure, great.
Chuck. I mean, Chuck Schumer is a great Palestinian, represents the Palestinian nation right now. He's no longer Jewish, I guess. What he's done to the Jewish people is incredible. They hate him.
It is terrible. Jews hate him. What the hell? Thank you for the super chat. Oh, my God. Bless you for that. And then thank you.
Remember this.
Okay, let me get some paper. Never mind. I'm sure I'll be able to store it.
They are good
They
at one
are?
thing, sticking together. They have horrible policy, and they lie. And, they did everything they could to beat me. I won 3 times. Unfortunately, the election was rigged the second time, and everybody knows it. And now
No, not at all.
all the proof is
You lost fair and square.
coming out. It's coming out loud and
No, it's not coming out at all,
we
actually.
won by millions of votes the second time.
No, you didn't.
But I don't talk about it. I go
Yeah, you do. You almost don't talk about anything else except maybe the ballroom and Sharpies.
onto the. Let's do it again. If I didn't think I won the second time, I knew I won by a lot. I wouldn't have run the third time because that's like the
You ran the third time to avoid jail.
ultimate poll. But I knew how well we did the second time. But the third time we made it too big to rig. So for those people that say the level of popularity, CNN, your friends at CNN, fake news CNN, one of the worst networks you'll ever see, one of the most dishonest, disgusting groups of people. But what happened is they did a poll, and the poll came out yesterday or day before.
Oh, this is the MAGA backs him 100%.
And is Trump losing MAGA support? The poll was 100%.
Yes, CNN called all the maggots they know personally, all 6 of them, and most of them are in the administration.
And their pollster, he's got a lot of energy, and he's pretty good. He probably won't have a job very long, but he said, whoa. It was 100% of the people, the MAGA people, and which is mostly, I think MAGA is almost the whole Republican Party. You want to know the truth.
Yeah, it actually isn't. That was kind of the point of the rest of the poll.
Almost everybody endorsed wins. Almost every single person that I endorse wins.
Almost, and that almost part's getting bigger.
And Kaylee knows that better than anybody. She was witness to it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And she's doing a good job, by the way. But almost everybody. So they did a poll at CNN 2 days ago.
What are you writing down, Jesse Waters? Stop pretending to take notes. What do you pick up butter on the way home? Greg's shuffling papers over here. Anyway, he's just going to keep talking, I guess. We'll try to straight lots of things to do, lots of things in the laboratory to do.
And I think you probably saw it. Maybe you put it on, but it was 100% support. So it's wrong. We have people that are.
You don't think anything that shows 100% support is either too small a sample or completely fucking insane?
Weak or stupid or low IQ people that don't mind having Iran have a nuclear weapon.
Well, let's check in with one of those people, shall we? I would hate to, go through all this and not check in with somebody who, is weak and stupid and wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Let's hear from one of those people, shall we? You're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show.
The briefings he's getting being bubble wrapped is a.
By the way, Trump is being bubble wrapped, by the way. And as the leader of a bubble wrap cult, I resent that. He is not welcome. He can go pop himself.
2-minute compilation of bombing footage, missile strike footage, and Trump.
Still got the taste of Tim Pool's ass in your mouth?
Equates how many things get blown up with victory.
Yeah. He's a moron. And this is surprising.
Anybody that studied war against a major country knows that's just to get their military out of the way. You have to march in and get rid of the leadership to actually take down a serious power.
Yeah, it will require regime change. Yeah, that is why previous presidents said, fuck that.
You got to put boots on the ground. And that's a whole nother ball of wax. The U.S. military is so powerful, it'd be like us fighting Martians.
Yeah. I was worried this analogy would come along some point, but I don't feel emotionally prepared for it, but I'm glad it's here now and we can all confront it together. It would be like we're fighting Martians.
When it comes to air power, but you still got to come down here and get on the ground.
That's right. And they got those big bulbous heads and the stick legs or whatever. You could totally sweep them or whatever. You probably, I'm thinking, if you could outrun them, I mean, they could probably levitate and probably freeze you. Yeah. Okay, first of all, I'm going to need a tinfoil hat. I hear that helps. Not as a helmet, but to keep them from making me not run. And then, yeah, what would be, what you could, bolt cutters. They got really skinny arms. Sorry.
And our superiority is not there then, even though we have some of the best military in the world, because our numbers are small compared to the Iranians with a million regular man army and another million auxiliary, and they're ready to die. And they're
well, I'd happily oblige them, sir.
Smart. When I say smart, they're competent. They're the worst Muslim.
So that's your standard. Smart means competent. Okay. To what standard? By the way, war is a very serious thing, and we shouldn't be doing this shit in Iran. But God help me if I'm going to pretend to take this dickhead seriously.
To fight
in any of his arguments, pro or con.
Okay. They don't just shoot their guns randomly in the air and say Durka Durka Muhammad Jihad. I mean, they basically invented.
That is a Team America World Police reference.
Mathematics and astronomy and so much more. I mean, they're not dumbos, okay?
Uh-oh. So we definitely are outmatched when it comes to Hegseth and Trump.
So we're fighting very serious, very vindictive, very vicious, very aggressive people.
Are we talking about the deep state still?
Who actually enjoy this. I mean,
they enjoy dying.
Tell us, which we already knew, they're happier than pigs in crap right now. And you got Lindsey Graham saying, we're going to go in and we're going to take those islands and we're going to take the Strait of Hormuz and we're going to, and it's literally, it's a nest. It's their main military nest. And we're going to do it, and I believe in the Marines. Well, it took 110,000 Marines and sailors to take Iwo Jima that had 23,000 Japanese on it. It took them, what, a month?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'm starting to agree with you. I think this Trump guy is a complete asshole. And anybody who supported him must feel like a right prick right now and must be wholly embarrassed that they ever bought his bullshit. And they're probably spending their days doing mea culpa after mea culpa, just going door to door like a former alcoholic on step, 5? Making apologies and amends for all the shit they pulled when they were out of their mind, right? Like that? You think they're doing that? Or are they still running apology for him? This is if Trump was alcoholism, this is Alex Jones saying, I can still drink socially. That's what this is.
And it killed, over 20,000 U.S. troops? 110,000, 76,000 Marines.
Yeah. Historically bad idea. Yeah, that's why we avoided boots on the ground in a lot of these situations. Yeah, it's not a good idea. It's not going to become a good idea the longer we're there either.
Fighting 20-something thousand Japanese, killed almost every one of them because they wouldn't give up because they were dug in. Remember all the footage of Iwo Jima shooting the flamethrowers into the caves?
What are you looking at?
And the flag finally getting raised on there? And that was just one of many islands. 110,000 troops. Just the one island they're saying they're going to take first.
Yeah, we didn't have A-10 Warthogs at the time. I mean, I think that's what they're counting on. Look, again, I've said that the problem with this is not that it'll fail, it's that it'll actually be easy and that they'll start killing civilians because they don't, like, Pete Hegseth doesn't give a rat fuck who gets killed in this shit. Like, they're just going to bug hunt through the entire country. I don't even think because they can get A-10 Warthogs in there, I don't think they even believe they're going to have to send boots into the major cities. They're just going to, like, circle around until they think they know where the leadership is and then just fucking, spray it. Hold on one second. I'll show you what I mean, why this comes up a bunch. Just because it's stupid doesn't mean it's not the plan. Okay, so hold on. For those of you that don't know about the A-10 Warthog, it's basically, they call it the flying tank. It's not very fast. So if you don't control the air, you'll if you don't control the air, they'll get blown out of the sky. But if you do, they fuck shit up. So this, I'll give you a little. That's the terrifying sound of a A-10 Warthog. That's the guns on it. You'll see it. That's what it looks like. Basically, it farts your country into dust. It's basically that. It's partly why they call it the Warthog, because it sounds like it's just farting all over your country. But it's very nimble, but it's not very fast. And they call it the tank killer for a reason. Trump probably sees this video and goes, "It sounds just like me after breakfast." Yeah, it's fucking gnarly. Like it's they were going to retire it at one point, and everybody in the Air Force like pushed back on it and freaked out. And again, the key part of this is that it looks so amazing, and the briefings Trump is getting look so effective that he'll go halfway and get out. That's what the Israelis are afraid of. That's what a lot of maggots are afraid of. The ones that are war adjacent, the Taco Bell buster, right? The toilet buster, right? So again, the problem with this isn't that it's gonna be like Afghanistan or Iraq. The problem is that to avoid it being like Afghanistan or Iraq, Trump and his people will get more brutal than the circumstance requires, which will result in the death of millions, hundreds of thousands of civilians. That's the part that worries me. Right? Yes. Is that an A-10 Warthog, or is Donald Trump calling you from the shitter again? Oh my God. Was that an A-10 Warthog that just went by? That's what I'm going to say when I fart from now on. A-10 Warthog. Did you hear that? We just had a flyby. In my family, we say rats and then start looking for them. Rats. Rats in here. Did you hear that? There's a rat in here. That's the go-to in our family. Leave a note in the chat if you blame it on the dog or what your standard cover is for farting in your family. Aflac, right? So, let's look at another pile of fried assholes that suddenly are kind of discovering that Trump's full of shit. And like, what? Like I'm, like he said he wasn't going to do this. And I was like, cool story, bro. Now, Kamala Harris wouldn't even meet in private with Netanyahu. Apparently yelled at him. Biden did too. Neither one of them were giving him the off the leash permission that everybody was accusing them of, and certainly not what Trump did once he got in office. Dave Smith was one of these dudes who lapped that shit up off the floor. But that cat again, get that cat out of here. Barking spiders, sure, that's a good one. All right, somebody step on a duck. All right, so speaking of basically farting for a living, JRE has Dave Smith on. Both are very concerned. They're just looking at the circumstances and they're going, how did we get here? How? You guys? Like, this is what? This is amazing. How did we get here? I'm like, what?
The Joe Rogan Experience.
And the thing is that they called that Hillary's war. She was the Secretary of State at the time under Barack Obama, but she's really the one who championed that. And I believe Obama wrote in his book that he was 50-50 and that Hillary really pushed him to that. And he said his big regret was that he didn't think about what came next after Gaddafi, because somehow we haven't learned that lesson yet. Like after Iraq,
Yes, we have. We have learned that. And the lesson that the Trump crowd learned was annihilation, attrition, total destruction, no half measures. The problem as they see it is that we went too easy on the enemy, and we were too concerned with civilian deaths to get that job done. And in the case of Gaddafi, that we went in, got rid of him, and that afterwards it might become terrible. And by the way, by comparison, has Libya been up our ass since he died in the way they were previous? I suppose not really. So again, it's 50-50. Like we're still in that history. We're not looking back on Libya. That is still an unfolding story. So that like the lesson Trump and Hegseth and the PNAC assholes, the lesson they learned was no quarter given. They think the lesson of Afghanistan and Iraq is that we tried too hard not to kill civilians.
never thought of that.
Listen, but thank God Trump's figured it out.
Oh yeah, Trump's figured it out. We'll go in this drastic new direction of getting the seventh war that they wanted.
Don't be a pussy, Dave. Jesus Christ. Did you see that one, I don't know what military expert was on television?
By the way, the seventh war he was talking about is the PNAC list that I've been talking about. That's like, and again, of course it was going to happen this way. Donald Trump is a typical Republican. There's nothing special about him. He's loud, he's stupid, but he's exactly in line with the plan that Republican presidents have been carrying out since Reagan.
You said something about I'm a fan of boots on the ground, like Rome. Like, hey, fucker, Rome didn't have nuclear weapons and drones. Mm-hmm. Rome didn't have drones that hunt you.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Boots on the ground? Should we fight with swords? Should we get everybody to fight with swords?
I'm for it. I think that would be a good start. Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
And everybody should wear outfits. Not just uniforms, fancy outfits, pillbox hats, straps, white belt and shoes. Very coordinated.
Well, also, like what?
Like what? I was joking before about the kind of Valley Girl-esque take that both these dipshits have. But that's exactly like, huh? What? Even this is nuts. You're like, fuckwad, this is exactly what he wanted to do in the first term. It's exactly what he's doing now.
What even is the plan with boots on the ground? Like, what are you talking about here? You're
gonna
securing oil, taking, probably raiding their banks and any kind of like crypto mining equipment that they have, because that's where Trump's fucking brain is with his family. And then I guess murdering anybody who's been in charge as part of the Islamic Republic of Iran. In parallel with what Israel wants to do. Because I got news for you. Israel already has boots on the ground. We are shooting around them. Trump is at some point going to get jealous because Netanyahu is going to go, we've got troops in there and they're doing this thing. And like, he's going to get jealous and want like to show up Israel. And we're going to hear this thing like, well, Israel was going to put boots on the ground and we were concerned that they would attack our troops in the region if we did. So we got to put boots on the ground too. Because everything's a reboot with these assholes.
Take an island. It goes, okay, well then you're going to be a target. You're going to be target practice as long as the Iranian regime is still standing. And if you're talking about...
Well, that's the point. That's exactly it. They're counting on it not being, or pretending it isn't, or sneak attacking them, or pretending to negotiate and then murdering them, which will set a standard for anybody we have to negotiate with in the future as long as Trump is president.
Militarily occupying the country, like we did with Iraq or Afghanistan or something like that, this is a huge country with 92 million people. How many soldiers do you think you need to occupy?
8, 10 tops, I think, really just,
that country.
You
At
need a
least
draft.
at least 500,000, and probably you can't do it with that. So what are you talking about here? And so you're saying, what are we going to start a draft for the least popular war going in American history?
Well, that would be par for the course with Trump. If I had to pick a draft situation with Trump as president, it would have to be that. It would be, yes, it would be, he would do it for the least popular war that's the most divisive and undermines America's standing in the world. Yeah. Yeah. He would force, almost out of spite, all the honorable men and women in our military to fight in his war of fucking choice, just to show them that they made a bad decision in their life. So he could point to Don Jr. and go, see, that's what happens when you join the fucking military like a loser.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, this is maybe slightly more popular than Vietnam.
Maybe slightly. Adorable.
Going in, it's less. I'm sure Vietnam by the end was very, very unpopular.
Well, Vietnam going in didn't make any sense, did it? There was, I guess, the Gulf of Tonkin.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Like the creep of Chinese communism, and it wasn't even just their economic aspect of communism. It was the authoritarianism of Mao and what they were pushing for. They attacked Vietnam again after we left. China and Vietnam had a war in the late 70s. Just because you fucked up doesn't mean you weren't going in the right direction at one point. You took the wrong off ramp, or you thought you had a tactic or a strategy that did not fit the circumstance.
Tonkin incident. But most people in America were like, why are we doing this? What's going on? You're drafting people to go to Vietnam? We're fighting communism in Vietnam?
Yeah.
What?
Well, they called it Vietnam syndrome that the American people had, which is that we didn't want to fight a war again after that. That's from their perspective, that's a syndrome. It's really something. They think, by the way, Ben
Let's fool me once, you can't get fooled again.
Shapiro used this same line he said, Trump finally broke Iraq war syndrome, because they think, see, from Ben Shapiro's perspective, the illness is after you lie the American people into a war and slaughter 1 million people. The illness isn't that. That you might look at that as the bad part, but the bad part is that these annoying Americans have this tendency to not want to do that again after that. But he claims Trump has broken Iraq war syndrome. Of course, there's really no evidence with support of the American people that that has changed at all. And
well, it doesn't have to. That's the thing about Trump. And the American people don't have to like it. If he gets a fucking bee in his bonnet about the stupidest goddamn thing, he's going to get fixated on it because his brain is fucking cottage cheese, and he is going to stick with it. It does not matter. And his people will tell him it is popular even if it is not. So it didn't break the Iraq war syndrome of America. It apparently broke Iraq war syndrome in Donald Trump's head.
You know, the George H.W. Bush was said to have defeated Vietnam War syndrome in Panama and in Iraq because they were relatively easy,
right? You
know, bloodless on the American side, or very, very limited, injuries and deaths, and they, they weren't like quagmires that went on forever or whatever. But of course, after the Persian Gulf War in 92, we went on to be bombing Iraq for ever since, essentially. For 30 straight years after that.
Well,
we were still at war with that country.
They think for 1 million people being dead.
Yeah.
What is public support? Let's put that into our sponsor, Perplexity. What is current public support?
Let's put that into our sponsor, Perplexity. Okay, so he's using Perplexity AI. Jamie, you're out of a fucking job.
For the Iran war in America. And first of all, how will they know? No one's asked me. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fair point.
That's what I would say about polls. When was the last time you answered a poll? When was the last time anybody called you up and said, Dave, man, first of all, when was the last time you ever picked up the phone if you didn't know who was calling? And then when you do answer, when was the last time you said...
You can sign up for them if you want to be a part of them.
Yes to a poll.
I don't even remember ever getting called.
It has to be the dumbest of dumb people that answer those polls. So then you got to realize out of those...
Sorry, so if they're against it, and you're against it, then you're dumb? Is that the theory?
Stupid fucking idiots. Even how many of them think the war's a good idea?
It's even unpopular amongst them.
I mean, what does it say here? Most recent national polls show Americans overall oppose the current war with Iran
Yeah, bunch of dummies.
and think U.S. military action has gone too far.
Bunch of dummies.
A Quinnipiac poll finds 54%. What is Quinnipiac? Quinnipiac?
This is his first time seeing a Quinnipiac poll. This is the first time he's seen this. Fucking year is it?
Poll finds 54% of U.S. voters oppose U.S. military action against Iran, and 39% support it. I wonder how many of those 39% are Jews.
Jesus fucking Christ! What? Sorry, huh? And look at what's this vein happening on his head? Are your headphones too tight? That's not
Support
good.
it.
Is there a scanner in the fucking room going? Like that's Cronenberg level brain
I
vein.
wonder how many of those 39% are Jews. And
Well, not too much. We don't have the numbers.
a poll reports about what is the number of Jewish people in America?
2%, something like that.
6 in 10 adults say U.S. military action against Iran has gone too far. Only about a quarter say it's been about right. 25%. Poofa. First of all,
So only people who answer polls are dumb. Dumb people who don't know not to pick up the phone when a stranger calls, I guess. And so therefore, this is the beliefs of stupid people, which apparently agree with Joe and Dave in their current iteration anyways, but whatever.
whenever you're talking about these kind of things, it's like, who are we talking about? Who?
Perplexity, it says at the bottom of the screen, by the way, Perplexity is a sponsor of the Joe Rogan Experience. I like Perplexity, by the way, and it's not a sponsor, so if I say something about it, you can trust me. And I'm going to talk about some of this work that I've been doing with both that and Cowork and OpenAI, kind of comparing the three tomorrow on Friday Eye. How you like that? A teaser. Yeah. Being professional.
Who was asked? Finds Republicans largely support the military action. Around 86% support. Whoa.
Yeah, there's
Really? Because I talked to a lot of Republicans that think it's a terrible idea.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You do not. You talk to a bunch of right-leaning independents who bullshit everybody into thinking they're not Republicans because they're embarrassed by their Bush votes.
While large majorities of Democrats, around 92%, and independents, about 64%, oppose it. 92%. Who are the 8% of Democrats that are like, let's fucking go? You think maybe they're Jews?
Or they work for CNN. They
Yeah.
were, whatever.
God damn. Why is this running? That's creepy as fuck. What's wrong with you?
CNN thinks it's a good idea? No.
Dude, CNN is running cover for Donald Trump during this time.
Come on. For real?
Oh, yeah.
No way.
Yeah, they put up a poll the other day. They had a graphic that said 100% of MAGA supports the war in Iran. It's like
CNN said that?
after
But-
all these years.
Say he liked it or something like that.
Oh, but hold on a
CNN
second.
likes me.
Is that running cover, or is that making them look bad? Because most Americans don't support the war, and most Democrats, 92%, don't support the war.
Look at that. There's Joe doing a little bit of jujitsu on this idea. There you go. You're almost thinking. Maybe that's what that vein was doing. It just took a little. There was like a delay.
So if that's the case, wouldn't that just make it look like these MAGA people are a fucking problem?
Yeah, that would work. Yeah, that would. So it was a rope-a-dope.
I
Look at
guess.
that.
Or it was like a sucker's plan. Like CNN was like, all these motherfuckers want to take us to war. They're the bad guys. Don't vote their way.
Oh my God, MAGA GOP view of Trump. Can I hear how he says it? Or would it be a problem?
Rating among
It's not him talking, it's someone else talking.
Oh, okay. That seems bonkers. It seems bonkers. Approve 100%. How many
No.
people did you ask? Two.
Well,
Two
there's
guys with
well,
MAGA
look,
hats on.
if
at
you
a party.
notice the way they say this, right? So they don't just say GOP voters. They say
It's the Ario and Dario brothers or whatever. guys who jumped Jesse Smollett, they're wearing MAGA hats. They asked them about it.
MAGA.
Oh, Sidario, yeah.
GOP voters. And so what they're doing.
Why is that? Why do I have to have that in my mind? Why is that? The fuck why do I have hard drive space taken up that should be for song lyrics or something else with fucking, I need to know the guys who pretended to jump Jesse Smollett.
Here is that they're filtering who they consider to be MAGA, and who they consider to be MAGA are the people who still say they support Donald Trump. But almost like 100% of the people who don't support this war stopped supporting Donald Trump over it.
Right, but look.
Done. Well, and then everything kind of twists into each other, and it's like a enigma trapped inside a Gordian knot.
Look at this little thing on the bottom they don't show you. 66%, 31% split among non-MAGA.
Right. And
but is that non-MAGA Republicans? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what they're saying.
No, I think that's non-MAGA Americans. I believe.
No. No. There aren't MAGA independents. Statistically speaking.
Leave.
I mean, I guess there are now. These are the ones that are leaving. They're talking about Republicans. That is specific. Fuck me. Now we gotta chase this dipshittery down. Hold on. Why is the Elvis? Tell me about Elvis. Elvis. Tell me about him. Let's see. MAGA 100% support Trump war, some shit like that. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not trying. Hold on. Let's see. This is. Hold on. This is a video. I gotta show you this one. This is. Somebody made. This is. Hold on. Well, I guess CNN made a compilation of Enton running numbers on Trump, Iran, and more. 35 minutes of it. 35 minutes of Enton running numbers on Trump, Iran, and more. This is from CNN. This is their official one.
How are you seeing MAGA feel about the president right now?
Yeah, you know, sometimes you look at the polling data and there are numbers that just jump off the screen at you, and this is one of those. Because just take a look here. MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approve 100%. 100%. If you are a member of MAGA in the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump. 0% say that they disapprove. You don't have.
Yeah, it's a cult. They have to. They have to support it because Trump did it.
You have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%. He is the 1972 Miami Dolphins. Now, there are some Republicans who disapprove of Donald John Trump, but they are not members of the Make America Great Again movement. The bottom line is this. If you are a member of MAGA, you approve of Donald Trump.
Okay, so that's the piece that he was doing. And the 66-31 split down there, that's 31% of Trump's remaining MAGA faithful is the point they're trying to make. So let me jump back over here to this dipshit crowd of Rogan and these guys pretending they know what's going on.
Like the whole MAGA thing, it's like, we're so fractioned as it is.
Yeah.
Like this whole idea of right versus.
Yeah, I blame Obama.
Versus left as it is. And now you've got a MAGA section of the right.
Yes. And Trump says they're the only section. If you're not pure MAGA, you're not a real Republican. You're a rhino. Where the fuck have you been, dummy?
It's all just ridiculous, dude. But it's a way to.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's not ridiculous. It in theory, up until Trump betrayed you by doing exactly what everybody was telling you he was going to do, you were part of MAGA in that regard. You believed in the America First MAGA movement. You weren't a hat wearer, but that didn't matter. You were completely on fucking board. Get the fuck out of here.
Describe it as anything other than what it is, which is the most unpopular war in American history going into it. And for good reason. Look, dude, he didn't even bother to sell us on a propaganda campaign about it. It was like the late.
In his defense, his brain is a pile of used wet toilet paper. So it's not that he wouldn't have wanted to sell you on it. He can't. He's fucking dumb.
Easiest, like, just lie us into it.
Let's put on a fucking firm tinfoil hat right now. Let's get a double layer Reynolds wrap, fucking crease the edges, fold it down. Why would he want to do this?
Money, prestige, legacy, power. His ego is so fucking battered and weak that he needs something that makes him feel important and powerful. And also the Epstein files, the economy's taking a shit because his plan for the tariffs to solve all the problems didn't work, and it's not going to work, and it was never going to work. So to cover the giant hole he made, you can, starting a war in the Middle East gives you high gas prices and oil prices, and you can blame the cost of living increases on that for a little while, and maybe that'll get you through the midterms if your coalition sticks together. That's the theory. But if you just let it ride and we didn't have this, and gas prices started to go up because you're a fucking loser, then it's a little harder to make your case this fall.
Why would he want to look? I am not denying that the regime of Iran is a giant problem. I'm certainly not denying that if I was Israel, I would not want them there. They hate you. They're trying to get a nuclear weapon. They're right there. I get the Israel position. I totally understand how they're so just vehemently in defense of their homeland. Like, they're surrounded by people that hate them. They're the one Jewish country. Everyone else is a Muslim. They all want a caliphate. They all want to kill them. It's been going on forever. They think it's in God's word that they have it. It's a lot of craziness. Mm-hmm. I get it.
And
why?
Why
now? Like
Epstein, the economy, Trump's slipping, PNAC. It's always the plan. He's a typical Republican. There's nothing special about him. The whole no more wars thing was bullshit because he intended on doing this a long time ago. Less is a favor to Israel, which was kind of the obvious, and more of a favor to MBS.
Why now?
And Sheikh Khalifa.
Like, what does that make any sense?
Well, Trump himself has said, which literally this would be like considered an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory if anyone else had said it, but Donald Trump has openly talked about many times how the Adelsons give him all this money and they come by every day and all they have is another demand on behalf of Israel. Donald Trump also very early in his political career.
But also, did that just start? Like when the Adelsons and Elon Musk are the two groups that are basically funding Trump's campaign last time. That really was what happened. Like you can almost track, I guess, 80% of the money that they spent came from Adelson or Musk. And considering what's on their wish list, that wasn't a red flag for you dumbasses.
Got in trouble with the Israel lobby and then immediately pivoted to to winning their favor back over by saying he would tear up the JCPOA, the Iran deal that Obama got us into. And it looks to me, there's speculation aside, who knows exactly what control they have over the guy. But
yeah, that's the other part. That it's control. He wants to do something else. He wants to be the person he promised me he would be. He desperately wants to, but they've got something on him. Well, guess what, motherfucker? This is like the Bill O'Reilly thing. Bill O'Reilly paid a woman $33 million to keep her fucking mouth shut after he sexually assaulted her for years at Fox News. Violently, I would suppose, because because there's a non-disclosure agreement about it, and the woman took $33 million to shut up. Can you imagine what someone would have to do to you where $10 million wasn't enough to keep quiet about it? 20 million? $30 million. No fucking way. I'm telling everybody. 31. I got 33. Let me check the drawers on my desk. 33 million. That's the last I got. What the fuck would you have to do to somebody that you have to pay him $33 million to keep quiet about it? It was awful, whatever it was. It's unforgivable. It's grotesque. Violent, disgusting, Hideous. And without explanation to the average person. If you were accused of doing something that you didn't do, but you didn't have a particular alibi for it, and they could taint you with the accusation for the rest of your life. You were at a party, that person, asked you to go into the cloakroom to ask you a question because about something. You go in there with them, and then they wrench their garments and run out and like scratch their own eye, and they run out like Gone Girl and go, "He attacked me," and you're stuck with that. Okay, but that's the idea. There's something that they have over you, but you didn't do it. At a certain point, you would tap out on their demands. They'd go, "I want $5 million and I want you to do this, and you're going to have to pay me all this time." And at some point, if you would go, "You know what? Fuck you. I didn't do this, and I'd rather fight it out in public. Let's just do it. I'm not paying you any more than this." There's that settle window that people go to, I would go straight there myself, but I can understand how some people with less keen minds and I guess fewer character witnesses might decide this is a good path. But at a certain point, there's a tipping point where you're like, "You know what? I didn't do this. I'm actually innocent. So no, I'm not going past this line," right? In theory. But once you're paying someone 9, 10, 15, 20, $33 million. Fuck you. Whatever you're guilty of, they should tell everybody anyways. They're almost part of the problem now, because if what they did was so bad they'll pay you that much to keep quiet, then they're doing that to other people. You are helping them victimize people. I would suggest in most of these cases, take the money and then break the NDA. Move the money around, spend it for 5 years, shuffle it around so they can't take it away from you, and then let the chips fall where they may. That would be, if in grace, that would be the only thing I could think of that would make that make sense to me. But what in the fucking world could, quote, Israel have on Donald Trump that would cause him to start the most unpopular war in the nation's history? Break all of his promises with MAGA, attack Iran, go through all this horse shit with Dave Smith and all these guys. The point is, that is so extreme, pushing us towards World War 4.2, that whatever he did, you should be as offended by that as you are that he was blackmailed into doing something else. The thing that they have that can blackmail him to do something so fucked up should have been your exit point. That he can be blackmailed at that level. The dude's got billions of dollars. He's the current sitting president of the United States, and the SCOTUS has basically told him he can't break the law while he's president. What the fuck kind of control would they have over him? The only thing I can think of is Epstein-related actual photographs, actual videos, actual stuff of Trump with children and real evidence about that. In which case, unless let's hear. Maybe Dave Smith can think of something cheap that Trump, it's like he's worried about he'll lose 2 of his fucking Scottish golf courses and he can't let that happen. So he's got to take America to war with Iran.
It looks to me that after Venezuela, and when there were these big street protests and riots against the regime and around there, that they convinced Trump, and this is what Joe Kent, his director of counterterrorism, has said too, that they essentially convinced him that this would be the time you could do it swiftly, surgically remove the regime, and the people would rise up and overthrow it. And this is what Donald Trump said when he launched this war. He said, "This is a regime change, and I'm calling on the great people of Iran to rise up." And they did. They rose up by at least the hundreds of thousands. They were out in Tehran in defense of the regime, chanting "Death to America." Because it turns out when you kill 165 little girls, that doesn't make a country go, "We love you. Thank you for that."
But before the bombing, there were people in the streets that were protesting. And people were killed because of that. A lot. That's the other thing, is that regime is like they clamp down, and they do it with public figures. They killed a very prominent wrestler from Iran. Really, two of them. They killed one a few years back. The UFC tried to step in and somehow or other stop it, but he was also one that was accused of protesting against the government.
Listen, I don't know about this most recent one. I'm not saying this is true at all. I don't trust any governments, but they claimed he killed a few cops. That's what the Iranian regime said he was being hung for. Now, I don't know.
The wrestler?
Yeah, the wrestler.
I didn't see that.
Convicted of that, whatever that means in a mullah-run court, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's right at all, but
let's just say it is.
I will say this, right? The Donald Trump, when he launched this war, and there's been a whole lot of just false claims that have been made, but he said specifically that they killed 32,000 protesters. There has not been a shred of evidence presented to back up this claim. Now, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not putting it past this government that they would do that, and they've acknowledged that a lot of people have died. I think the last I had seen was that I know they were saying the government of Iran, this is before the Ayatollah was killed. They were saying.
All right, can I just say for a second? I'm going to record scratch this moment, if I may. You know how I was saying. You know how I was saying that now that it's on, a lot of the conversation will drift to the tactical stuff and the bombs and the minutia of war as it goes on. The fog of the material acts of war, the tactics, and are now on television. So therefore, the strategy or the purpose takes a backseat. And this is another example of this, where Dave Smith is basically fighting this argument from the Iranian side, Iranian leadership side, that, their numbers aren't our numbers, and this is back and forth. We saw this with Israel and Gaza. Keeping your eye on the ball means recognizing this is wrong, and there is a reality that goes with it. And the one area where these guys are never going to go, or I don't know. Maybe Dave Smith at one point has said, like, I was a fucking dumbass for buying this. I haven't heard Joe Rogan do it, but Rogan helped him get elected. Partly, the reason young men came out and voted for Trump is because, it was the latest version of you can have a beer with him. The same thing that worked for Bush. That's why Trump is as typical as he could possibly be. He sat down with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan helped him get elected. Didn't just vote for him. Didn't just sit back and watch it happen. Actively participated in benefiting Donald Trump's campaign to the point where he gets elected. I'm sure Dave Smith would have had him on his show if he would have gone on. So both of these assholes, I think primarily will yammer about, well, I don't believe this, and these are details, and we don't know about this guy, and this is a bad thing that they did, and this is a bad thing that we did, and stuff. And by the way, there's just as little verification of the 126 girls who died in the school, as far as we know, as the 36,000 protesters number. But Dave Smith said that is fact. Neither of those are externally verifiable where you and I sit, right? Neither of those numbers, right? You and I both, and neither does Dave Smith and neither does Joe Rogan. They do not have access to know whether that number is accurate, whether it's overcounted, undercounted, whether it's real at all, right? We don't know that. It's so far away that we have to take the word of either reports that come out, whistleblowers, information that is verified through secondary sources or come some way, right? That's the reality we live in. So that's why in a lot of these cases, taking these things with a grain of salt and pacing yourself when information hits you, and knowing that each side is going to want to serve up both supporting numbers for their own side and denigrating numbers for the other side, that's a factor of this. And we saw it during Israel and Gaza. It's important to go there. But I want you to notice how Dave Smith popped out that 126 number for the school as if it's fact. verifiable material fact, like he went down there and counted bodies himself. And the number of 36,000 people, or the wrestler that was hung, it's watery. The reality is both are watery. And there may be truth to either side of it. But we have limited information. Where we don't have limited information is that our president started this shit. And our president currently has the support of the Republican Party on every vote he would want to run interference for any kind of limitations on his powers, all that kind of stuff. And unless we can vote Democrats in, he's going to keep that power for the next 2.5 years. That's a real number. Does that make sense? Chat room, can you understand like my perspective on this? Because I get aggravated all this stuff. Because I run, whenever these news stories come up, because I do this for a living now, hit the like, share the show. Because I do this for a living, I notice how many times like false numbers or what I would call like steamroll or snowball numbers happen. Trump does this. Trump tries to snowball numbers all the fucking time. Yes, Netanyahu does it. Putin does it all the time. Yeah, it is a constant, like Trump tries to add on to it. He even, what was it? He added a year to the 47 years. It's been 47 years presidents have been, wanting to do this. Now it's 48. Well, not if you did it. There wasn't another year, but he got bored of saying 47 because now that number sounds old. So he wants another number that's higher. So he added a fucking year, 48 years we've been wanting to do this because 47 doesn't sound as good anymore. So his numbers always have to snowball. They always have to get bigger. They're always bullshit in that regard. So you want to know a number that's real though? The 28th? That's this Saturday. There's a No Kings rally near you. Go. If there's a primary in your area, you can vote. In the fall, you will have a chance to vote to change the leadership of the House and the Senate to curtail this shit. That's a real number. Your vote, your single vote, paired with other votes, matters. But you'll notice how people will put an anchor on a number they believe, and any number they don't believe is fucking vapor. He could just as well say, like that Joe Rogan could just as well say 36,000 people were killed by the regime. Round number, flat, right? Exactly 36,000 people. Not around, not over, under, exactly that. And you could have had Dave Smith going, nobody's been able to verify the 175 girls that were killed at that school or 125, whatever. And it's hard to tell. Like, you know what I mean? That's just the reality. And thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I put the homework in. I just want you guys to know that. Even on days where, like today, don't get me started. The point I'm trying to make is, trust but verify is always a good plan. And just because you like a number doesn't mean it's true. And just because you hate a number doesn't mean it's true either. The 100% of MAGA is fucking ridiculous. Right? It's obviously ridiculous. But to some maggots, that number, and to Donald Trump, that number is sacred. It is sacrosanct. It is solid. He feels like he could reach out and touch 100% of MAGA loves him, right? It's by no means true. But it's amazing to me how many people and Dave Smith is probably the most obvious in doing this. That if there's a number he likes that he can't verify or doesn't have proof of, oh, thank you so much. If he doesn't have proof of it, he'll say it word for word, moment for moment, as a point of propaganda on his own, apropos of nothing, except that he likes the way it sounds and the way it reinforces his argument. And he will denigrate or mystify as in create a mist of any number that he doesn't like. And that is incredibly stupid. Oh my God, thank you guys for the support today. You can make me get all gooey.
It was something like 3,000 people had died. And then the CIA
But when
said,
you say died, does it mean they killed the
well,
protesters?
that's unclear. That's not what they are claiming. But then the CIA, at least there was a piece in the in the Wall Street Journal where they had said, and this was like a week and a half into it, that they estimated like 6,500 or something like that. But this is a huge question, right? It's not clear at all. Like, were they lining people up and just executing them for the crime of protesting? They hung the wrestler. But I'm saying the people who are...
Yeah, but he probably killed 2 cops.
Have been killed here.
Uh-oh, Jamie's throwing up video.
Iran protest death toll could top 30,000, according to local health officials. And this is from Time magazine. As many as 30,000 people could have been killed in the streets of Iran on January 8th and 9th alone. 2 senior officials of the country's Ministry of Health told Time, indicating a dramatic surge in the death toll. So many people were slaughtered by Iranian security services that Thursday and Friday it overwhelmed the state's capacity to dispose of the dead. Stocks of body bags were exhausted, the official said, and 18-wheel semi-trailers replaced ambulances.
Now, listen, all I'm saying here, man,
is it's Time magazine. I mean, I know I was quoting Wall Street Journal a second ago when it had a number I liked, but now that it's got a number I don't like,
is that you got to be, I've just seen this movie play out a lot of times. You got to be really careful about these accusations that are made in the run-up to a war. They're basically saying...
Oh, hold on. That wasn't the run-up to a war, dumb fuck. That, again, I'm fairly certain at that point, especially from Time's perspective, they're against this. Like... don't we have a... So I guess the whole liberal media thing has been just thrown out the fucking window now that it doesn't work. Oh, bless you. Canadians even are in the chat. You guys are being lovely today. You're going to... I got to tell you, like, you guys know this. The last fucking 6 months have been a bit of a tooth pull. And with my girl going through what she's going through, I was like... This afternoon, I was like, I don't know if I can do a show today. True story. I feel like I'm walking in mud, and where you're just kind of dragging your feet, and I did it anyways. I'm here, and I just want to tell you I appreciate it. That's it, and I'm glad I'm doing the No Kings thing in Chicago this weekend. But I gotta admit, I feel bad going away this weekend while Summer's, in the few days after she has this treatment today. That's kind of the worst time. Her son's gonna come over and make sure she's got everything she needs, but it still sucks. So, anyways, yeah. Anyways, back to the show. I appreciate you guys, and thank you.
We have a source who told us this.
What year was this? I mean, excuse me, what date was this? January 25th.
So the protest started in late December, and then in January. This is
Time was unable to independently verify these figures.
That's right.
Right, because they can't go there. And by the way, that's the point, fuckhead. They say that. Time says that in their article. What Dave Smith's argument is that even if they could verify the numbers, I don't believe their verification because I don't like the numbers. And he's saying numbers that he can't verify and quoting them as fact. It's fucking stupid. It's so aggravating. Like, say it on principle and stop treating it like it's a fucking sporting event. Would it matter if there were 10 girls in that school? Is it the fact that it cleared 100? Is that why it's so upsetting and shocking? It's wrong. You can start there and stay there. Fuck's sake. Thank you so much.
Listen, the claim being made here, right, is that, look, in this point, they said in 2 days, 30,000 people were killed. Mm-hmm. If that is true, that is up there with one of the biggest massacres in human history.
No, it isn't. Like Genghis Khan's forces killed 1 million people in a day before guns were invented.
The biggest massacres during World War II were like around that. The
It
numbers.
says, as of Saturday, U.S.-based human rights activist news agency had confirmed 5,459 deaths and is investigating 17,000 more.
Yes.
So that's at least close. So we're in the neighborhood. We're in the
Yeah, you don't understand, Joe. Dave is dug in on this. Thanks so much.
20s. Just if what they're investigating turns out.
Because here's the thing. Dave has to believe that everything in talking about this, anybody who talked about Iran bad or this is concerning or they were trying to do kind of a balanced article or whatever, is a slippery slope to them wanting this to happen. And they were basically, trying to drive Donald Trump to do it on behalf of the Jews, or they were, I guess, cheerleading it because time is run by fucking PNAC people all of a sudden.
To be accurate,
if that's the case, but we're talking also here, Joe, about like NED funded US based NGOs who are really around hawks, you know.
Good point.
And I'm just saying, like, look.
Wait a minute. No, we're not. Why would they be considered Iran hawks? Citation needed.
The claim here is that around, I saw a bunch of the Zionists online when this was first coming out back in January. They were like, oh my God, they've already killed half as many people as died in Gaza in just a couple days. And you're like, right, that's a hell of a claim, right? I mean, like if you...
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Sudan. Hold on one second. There you go. Just real quick, if I may. Key details on Sudan's. My microphone is over here and it's creating a shadow. This is beg your pardon. It's screwing up my thing. Son of a bitch. All right, something like that. I'll fix it later. All right, so sorry about the line. Conflict casualties. The siege and fighting in cities like El Fasher have led to mass casualties, with some estimates calling it the largest massacre in the 21st century. Famine and hunger. Widespread famine is occurring, with 25 million people suffering from severe food insecurity. That's right now. Right fucking now. Children at risk. 4 million children are acutely malnourished, with 770,000 at imminent risk of death. Health and infrastructure. And the number of the killings in that, the death toll from the Sudanese Civil War 2023 to present is extremely high, with estimates varying due to difficulty of reporting. As of late 2025, reports suggest at least 60,000 people have died in the conflict for control of areas like El Fasher. Just one area. 60,000 in one city. While other estimates, including those utilizing satellite data, because you could see the blood from space, suggested the total death toll could be as high as 150,000. Dave Smith couldn't give a rat's ass about fucking Sudan. You know why? Because there aren't Jews on either side. That's why. That's what's fucked up. I'll show you this part too. Talk about stuff I wish didn't operate didn't maintain space in my fucking brain pan. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Visible from space, bloody sands expose the slaughter of tens of thousands in Sudan. Look at those houses. Look at these buildings. That's bullet holes. This is ongoing. The refugee crisis is horrendous. I'm old enough to remember when, and I'm sure there's a bunch of folks in the chat who remember the days of like us giving a fuck about Darfur. Yeah, that ship has sailed. We don't have a State Department that gives a rat's ass about any of this stuff. You know where the Iraq War syndrome still exists? It exists in our troops in the UN not having any peacekeepers going in to try and stop what's going on in Sudan. Far more dead by a factor of 10 in Sudan than Gaza or even Iran so far. Surrounded by sand barrier built during the 18-month siege, most of the 250,000 people in El Fasher and Western Sudan have been trapped as paramilitary fighters from the Rapid Support Force, which used to be called the Rapid Strike Force until this war started, by the way, have rampaged through the city. Experts estimate tens of thousands have been killed in the past week. With the key regional capital under a communications blackout, it's been left to eyewitness accounts as well as satellite imagery and video shared on social media to reveal the scale of what is unfolding in El Fasher. So this is first white cluster of bodies. So these are people who are like bagged up effectively or covered in trash. And then when they, there's a line of people down here, and then a cluster of dead bodies over here. Dark-colored objects consistent with people created a large line outside a former children's hospital stretching from the building to the gate of the compound. Across the street, a new cluster of white objects appear that are not seen in imagery collected on Sunday. In imagery collected on Tuesday, dark-colored objects of similar size and color as the line in the previous imagery now appears tightly grouped together. In the same image, a new set of light-colored objects appears in the southwest corner of the compound. These are... let's see, about 5,000 people have made their way out of El Fasher and Tawila. It's a trickle. It's disturbing that so few have managed to reach the town to get out of El Fasher. Along the road, the women are being raped. They have nothing with them, adding that many were trekking across the desert to avoid militias on the road. Videos uploaded on social media of RSF fighters show scenes of carnage in the city they left behind. One filmed near the berm shows dozens of bodies on the ground and fighters with RSF insignia walking among them as vehicles burn nearby. Sporadic gunfire pops off in the background. We killed them, the man who took the video, which is just verified by NBC News, can be heard saying, "They are just dust now." Another shows an RSF commander whom NBC has called Abu Lulu. This is one of the big leaders who's particularly vicious, shooting a lot of men on the ground. Objects consistent with human bodies. These are the bloodstains that you can see from fucking satellite imagery. So many dead, it stains the earth. So the idea that fucking Dave Smith's crocodile tears for how people are making up bullshit numbers to make the Iranians look bad is fucking pathetic. This is the honest to God, this is the most selective fucking outrage ever. And I mean, stack that on top of how dumb this motherfucker is, that he fell for Trump's bullshit. Chat room, like, for real, did we not all listen to Trump when he was saying no wars and prices are going to drop and energy's going to be cut 50% and all that kind of stuff? And we were like, he's just fucking lying, guys. He lied last time. What makes you think in how he handled COVID that he's going to handle anything better this time? What are you, nuts? Like, who fell for this shit? Dave Smith. So why, if you're unrepentantly this fucking stupid, why would I take anything you have to say about any of this stuff seriously? And in which case, if you're actually trying to make a case for whatever you're defending, you're a terrible person to do it because everybody knows you as stupid. It's kind of like that polling thing they were just talking about. The dumbest people answer these polls, and then there's a list. Everybody's against it. Well, seriously, then I guess, Joe, that means only dumb people are against the war? So Dave Smith's dumb, therefore anything he says is dumb. It's... Again, the selective outrage of this just points to such a fucking, like, ego-based ethic. It's like literally only caring about details that make you look good in the circumstance.
Just from following wars all these years, if you started carpet bombing Tehran, Vietnam style, carpet bombing Tehran, after 2 days, that's the type of death toll you'd be looking at.
Well,
so
Bullshit. What do you talk? No, you would, if you carpet bomb Tehran, you would not have 30,000 deaths. And again, the guys in Sudan are doing it with machine guns, you dumb motherfucker. They killed 60,000 people over the course of a week. Oftentimes taking a break from murdering to rape the person before they killed them. What the fuck are you talking about? You think you have to napalm a city to get 30,000 deaths? This is, oh God. And again, if you talk like this, it just sounds like you're defending the Iranians in this situation instead of actually just criticizing what the Trump administration is doing. Like, you can't just do that. And the problem, again, with the Iran war is not that it will be a failure. It's that it might succeed within limits of, the time that we're in. And then we all get to sit and wait for the fucking blowback. Meanwhile, on the other side of the spectrum, I have to cheer myself up. I ran late, so I'll go a couple minutes over. Bless you guys. And then I got to go make Summer some sliced apple and peanut butter because that's what she likes right now. And it's strange what you crave. And so I'm going to go make her some. And I've refrigerated the apples because it's very refreshing. But I need to take the edge off a little. I'm feeling the rage, the enragement that overtakes me and makes me get a little punchy and choky if I'm not careful. So I need something to take the edge off, something just like old-fashioned dumb. You know what I mean? Like, was there a simpler time when things were just stupid at on their face? That's right, Greg Kelly. Who guessed? I saw somebody. Look at that. You just knew, didn't you? Ladies and gentlemen, the most miserable man on the internet, a man who Newsmax will not give a clip to that is longer than 3 minutes right now. Of all the people, they are not interested in giving this dickhead a 6-minute clip. He does not get a whole segment put up on the website anymore. Other people on Newsmax get regular 7, 8, 12-minute clips from their show. Not Greg. I don't know who he pissed off or didn't let sit in his fucking easy chair or farted on the bus, but Greg Kelly is stuck. This one's 2 minutes and 28 seconds. They are over him. I think Greta Van Susteren gets to pick how long his clips are. She took his time slot, in case you don't know. All right, here we go.
We all know.
And also, the peacemaker moment. Like, how dumb? This dumb.
Know very well at this point. He does not like war. This was
based on what? What are you talking about? This asshole says we should have kept Bagram and stayed in Afghanistan. Say that again.
We all know him very well at this point. He does not like war. This was.
But what else has he got to cover the Epstein files? I mean, you back a man up against the wall.
Was essentially a last resort.
No, it's not. Not at all. He fucking strafe bombed the place last year with B-2 bombers. This is the second to last. That was the second to last resort. Or maybe it's the third. You don't even know if he's going to stay in or stop and then go back. He might do this again in July, you dumb motherfucker. You don't, keep your powder dry.
Conflict. He loves ending wars.
Yeah, it's great, especially if he didn't start. Yes, we'll raid Liberal Dan when I'm done. I'll wrap this up soon because we're not gonna have to.
He has a passion for it.
Yeah, there's nothing he loves better than ending a war that wasn't going on and avoiding the ones that are killing the most people. Russia, Ukraine, Sudan, anyone?
I have settled so many wars since we're here. We're here almost 9 months, and I've settled.
I'm so bored with it now. I'm putting myself to sleep talking about it. I'm almost thinking about starting a war just so I can stop one.
7, and yesterday we might have settled the biggest of them all.
I stopped other wars.
Oh, by the way, they didn't.
Was just by the use of tariffs.
Pakistan, India was very big. Both nuclear powers, I settled that.
In a period of just 7 months, I have ended 7 unendable wars. They said they were unendable.
No, they didn't. Most of them were border skirmishes.
So I wonder, will it count if he ends this war, which, let's face it, you know.
He started? No. He doesn't get points for ending one he started. In the peacemaker situation, he should get credit for all the ones he doesn't start at this point. There you go. How about this? Like, hey, could have bombed fucking Canada. He didn't launch a nuke at Greenland, count your blessings.
We actually started dropping the bombs. Well, Iran did a long time ago.
A long time ago. You know what? I've still got a grudge about the Revolutionary War. You want to, show them who's boss now?
Will this count? I don't know.
No.
But
I do. No, it won't. It will not count.
He wants it ended, and I do believe he is the peacemaker. I also
You mean like the missile?
believe our demands are reasonable. Now, this is good. At least the two sides are talking. Okay, this is what we want. Of course.
All right. There are 3 of the 5 demands.
Of course.
Or maybe he's got more of them. We'll see. Give up the nuclear program. I thought we obliterated that last year. Done.
About the nuclear. Limits on the long-range missiles.
How do you check that?
If not, no long-range missiles. Cut ties with proxy.
If not, no.
Groups in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq. Stop exporting terrorism. As far as the Iranian demand.
Well, if they don't have long-range missiles, what other recourse do they have? I mean, what is a suicide bomber in another country but a long-range missile?
They want the U.S. bases removed from the Middle East.
So basically what Osama bin Laden wanted, and apparently, So after, in the shadow of 9/11, Donald Trump is going to make us best friends with the Saudis and give them this. Okay.
Reparations for any damage that we did during.
Yeah. Can you think of, they're using that word just to fuck with him. You know that, right?
This campaign. They want to control the Strait of Hormuz.
Which they only have half of. They only own one bank of. Wouldn't they have to split it with the UAE?
I guarantee no more attacks.
Yeah, how would you guarantee that? Yeah, totally. Dude, we're not going to do it. Absolutely. Come on out. No. You guys should have a rooftop picnic. That's a good idea. Promise. Dude, I was not doing this while we were talking.
I can tell you what we're probably going to. Reparations, I could see that happening. Not like
what?
The crazy ones we talk about in America.
Yeah, wait a minute. So you can see us paying to rebuild Iran, but not paying black people for redlining. Americans. Black Americans. American citizens. For a wall put between them and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for a period of time. That kind of thing. And slavery. That's out of the fucking question. But we're gonna pay who? I don't know who the fucking people running the next mullahs, right? In theory. What? Because we're negotiating with those people, so I guess they expect to be the ones to build it. So, hold on. The fact that Greg Kelly thinks, yeah, you can see reparations happening, you're fucking insane. That's not happening.
going to reparations. I could see that happening. Not like the crazy ones we talk about in America, but writing a check or arranging it somehow that they get some money out of this. I'd be okay with that.
You would? Sorry, Greg Kelly just agreed that we should send billions of dollars to the Iranians, the current regime, which still exists. Huh?
Control of the Strait of Hormuz. Quite frankly, if they let the ships go in and out of it, if you want to make it formal control that you have, if that makes you feel better, maybe we could live with that. As long as there is a de facto open waterway there, I think.
Well, then there isn't. What the fuck do you think control of the Strait of Hormuz means, dum-dum?
We're fine. We're getting closer.
No, we're not. That's nuts. What are you talking about? Then we're not going to agree to that. And Israel's not going to agree to that. UAE's not going to agree to that. What you want to talk about, like the preconditions for a war for the next 20 fucking years? That one alone will do it. Are you crazy? Holy shit. The only thing, it's not like Iranian oil is the only thing that comes out of you stupid son of a bitch. Food for the Middle East goes in. They can literally choke off the other countries and have a right legally to do it? What the ever-loving fuck are you talking about?
We're talking.
Yeah, we're saying some stupid shit, and they're saying some stupid shit, but the bond between us and the Iranians has never been more obvious. Both our countries are run by arrogant, egomaniacal psychos. And I'm just saying to the Iranian people, I fucking feel you right now.
We are talking to the Iranians.
No, we're not, by the way, either. That's horseshit.
And we also have Pakistan that talks to both sides. We got all kinds of things going.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of stuff. That's it. Is that the end of this video? It is, isn't it? He's it's we're coming near the end. They got almost enough, couple seconds left for the graphic. What stupid fucking thing could possibly top the rest of this video that Greg could end on so the editor can go, that's where we stop. That's the moment.
Kinds of avenues of information.
That's it. Cut off right before he's gonna make a point because it's fucking dumb. Good Lord. Ayatollah Kelly. All right, let's see. There's Trump and whatever. I'm sorry I didn't get into some of the, some of these are just too fucking long. But insofar as that 100% of MAGA thing, Tucker, but cross some fucking lines. Bill O'Reilly is, I guess, living on the streets now. I guess this is the last time Glenn Beck is going to blow Donald Trump. He's that mad. And then the guy from TMZ apparently is mad about TSA.
So let's talk home economics for a minute. We are coming up on April 1st. April 1st typically is a time when rent is due.
Sorry, you pay rent once a year?
And utilities have to be paid, when various other bills have to be paid.
Yeah, you can just say the first of the month. We understand the concept.
We are now looking at
a piece of paper.
TSA agents going 6 weeks without pay.
Mm-hmm.
How exactly are they supposed to pay their rent, pay their bills?
Well, the idea is that if they can fund the agency, they'll get, Donald Trump could give them a bonus over the money that they were denied. And I guess that's primarily it. I mean, again, Republicans could pass any of the bills that the Democrats have put forward. They've got the votes to do that, but they won't bring it to the floor because they know they've got the votes to do that.
Exactly what are these people supposed to do? Because they are not people flush with cash. The average TSA salary.
By the way, this is what always happens. Democrats are asked to blink on these kind of moments because real people are being affected. And the idea is that, look, we know Republicans don't give a shit about these people. So you've got to fold up your ideals and and whatever goals you have, suck it up, because you will never win a game of chicken with these fucking psychos. And somehow the guilt is laid at your feet because you're now responsible for the damage that is done, not the intransigent other side.
Is somewhere between $35,000 and $45,000 a year. The average for a high-cost area like California, they pull in $54,000 a year. So these are not people who have, savings accounts. They are living, many of them, maybe most of them, hand to mouth. And they are still struggling from the last shutdown, which was 39 days. And that was in late October, November of last year. And they went 5 weeks without pay then, so they're probably still trying to recover from that. And then on top of that, they've gone 6 weeks without pay this time around. So exactly how do these people pay their bills? How do they prevent getting evicted from their apartments, having utilities shut down, having car insurance canceled, possibly health insurance?
Yeah, we get it. Yeah, it's a terrible thing. Republicans are in control of the entire government. And I don't know if this asshole wants Democrats to fold, which seems like this is where this is going. But this is a thing he put up called My Message to You. Okay, TMZ, here's my message to you. Stay in your fucking lane. There is no goddamn way that you didn't know about Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, and all of that crowd. There's no fucking way you didn't know. And if you didn't, you just were actively trying to avoid knowing about it. It's your fucking job. Rich and famous people up to shaky shit, like tracking them down, chasing women down the street because and body shaming them, driving like child stars to alcoholism by bugging the fuck out of them their whole lives. That's your fucking job. So how about shut the fuck up and keep an eye out for the next Harvey Weinstein or Bill Cosby? How about do that? And how about leave everybody who's got normal problems in Hollywood the fuck alone? If they're breaking up with their partner, if they're like going through a divorce or somebody's sick, leave them the fuck alone. It's none of your goddamn business. And it's not reflective of any kind of standard that they are maintaining on behalf of the rest of humanity. And the minute everybody else has 100% relationship security and these weird celebrities somehow break up with somebody, what the fuck is up with that? It'll become news again. But the number of pedos that these motherfuckers have either actively turned a blind eye to or were too stupid to spot because they were too busy chasing down fucking like actors and actresses who were too fat or too skinny. It was a window by which more people became victimized. You're an active participant in the victimization of everyone that was sexually assaulted by Harvey Weinstein. And fuck Page 6 too. Other than that, I have no opinion. I will say though, my challenge still stands to everyone at TMZ that I will fight them in a boxing ring for charity. They can pick the charity. My only rule is they all have to fight at once, like the entire staff, like everybody that works on camera there, all at once, have to be in there. I'll be by myself. I will just wear like boxing shorts and shoes, and gloves. They don't have to wear gloves at all. They can bring any stick weapons they want, and they can wear any padding they want. I'm not kidding. Oh, and Harvey can wait till I'm done with everybody else. He can come in last. That was the other one. So everybody, like the entire cast crew, everybody, and then when I'm done with them and I'm tired a little bit, I suppose, then he can come in. All for charity. And like I said, I'll be wearing boxing gloves. He can go in bare-fisted. He can bring in fucking a piece of pipe, a broom handle, whatever he wants. Just any weapon you can, any blunt weapon you want to find. Baseball bat, whatever you like. And you can cover yourself up in a fucking inflatable sumo outfit or wear karate pads. You can come in dressed as a fucking hockey goalie. I don't care. My offer has stood for 20 years because of all the people that these assholes have shamed into addiction and fear and body issues and stuff while letting the Harvey Weinsteins of the world just slip by. Couldn't have seen it. They can fucking crawl up somebody's ass because they have a substance abuse problem and they check themselves into rehab. But somehow the Weinstein thing, just, I don't know. I guess he wasn't famous enough. I guess he wasn't connected enough. So, yeah, offer still stands and always will. I don't know when the first time I made that challenge. I want to say it was 2004, something like that. They've avoided talking about me, even during Queer as Folk, which you'd think would, be a bit provocative for them. But ever since. But again, anytime. Anytime. So, just floating that out there. I don't like talking about actual fighting very much, but in this case, I will make an exception. I am happy to do it. So yeah, you can come in wrapped completely in pillows. You do whatever you got to do. All right. Tomorrow night, I do not have a flapper show, guys, because so I can spend as much time with Summer. I'm red-eyeing to Chicago tomorrow night, and I'm going to fly back after the No Kings rally immediately Saturday afternoon, evening. I've got a 10 o'clock flight, but I'm hoping I can make the 8. So sorry about that, and I will make that date up in the future for our Patreons and all that stuff. I hope that's all right. Yeah. So, what else? Yeah, that's it. I guess Saturday's show will be done in Chicago at the station, and then I'll be at the No Kings rally in the afternoon. And I hope none of you see it until later. You can watch it on video later or something, because I hope you are at a No Kings rally near you. That would be my wish. So thank you guys for your support, not just financially in terms of the show and all that kind of stuff, but you guys, I see your messages and I appreciate them, and you guys know how much it affects me when I see them, and so I just can't express how grateful I am for you guys. So yeah, thank you for booing me, Jennifer. It's going to be increasingly necessary over the course of the weekend. Anyways, take care of yourself and take care of somebody else, and I'll see you tomorrow for Friday Eye, and then tomorrow's afternoon show. Everything will be as normal as far as shows go, and I've got a lot of stuff to do. I gotta go take care of my girl. So I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to raid Liberal Dan, I think.
Wait, right, bow, pull tight, crown like cold, winter light, scrolling in here.